We're announcing today a joint travel advisory. People coming in from states that have a high infection rate must quarantine for 14 days. It's only for the simple reason that we worked very hard to get the viral transmission rate down. We don't want to see it go up.
Of course, I understand where Governor Cuomo is coming from, but whenever you're looking at growing our economy, trying to restore our economy, this is not particularly helpful to that.
New York's Andrew Cuomo going head-to-head with Arkansas's Asa Hutchinson after Cuomo announced a quarantine for travelers from new coronavirus hotspots across the Sun Belt, including Arkansas. And Governor Hutchinson joins us this morning. Governor, thank you for joining us this morning. So was Governor Cuomo justified or not?
Well, I think he's understandable as to where he's coming from. They've had such a huge challenge there in New York City. We've sent our nurses up there to help them during that time of crisis. I understand where they're coming from, and in fact, we had the same order in Arkansas that travelers from New York had to quarantine. We've lifted all of those now because this virus has become like a fog going across the United States, sometimes slowly, sometimes rapidly. So we're just going to do better to get our cases down in Arkansas, but ultimately, we can't be putting these restrictions on each other across the country because we do have to do two things, both manage the virus and manage the growth of our economy. And ultimately, whenever you see growth of cases from Texas to California, I don't think New York wants to isolate themselves from every region of commerce that might have a spike in cases.
Both Texas and California have put their reopening plans on pause, at least some of them, as well as the state of Florida. Your cases have jumped about 25% in the last week. Will you be putting any pauses in place on your reopening?
Well, we haven't announced anything additional that we're going to do. We can go into phase 3. We're not going to do that, so we are on pause on that until we make sure that we get a handle on our current cases. And so we are, in effect, on pause in that way. But we are continuing to move our economy, and that's important to be able to go into the future, both handling the virus and living life, and that's what we're trying to do. But this is a very, very serious challenge we have right now. And just let me emphasize, we've doubled the amount of our testing nationally. We've got to double it again. That is probably the most important thing that we can do. And I'm concerned as a state, while we've increased our testing dramatically in Arkansas with the demand for testing from California and some of the Texas, some of the high population states, how is our commercial providers going to keep up with that? I really think we need to look at a greater use of the Defense Production Act so that we can make sure the supply keeps up with the demand that we know is going to continue growing.
So you think the national effort has to be stepped up?
Yeah, the president's done a very, very good job of utilizing the Defense Production Act when it comes to managing the production of ventilators, making sure that we have that capacity. We need to continue to use that in the areas of the supplies for testing. The demand is only going to increase, and if we are going to have school, which we plan on doing next year, if we're going to have other activities that we like in society, it all depends on the ability to test and know what the radar shows is where the virus is, so we can go in and isolate it, we can trace it down. That's how you live life, that's how you manage the economy, but at the same time minimize the risk of the virus.
It's now mandatory to wear face masks in the city of Little Rock. The mayor passed that executive order. Why not extend that to the whole state?
Well, we're encouraging mask wearing. I've set the example for that. That's a very important part of the equation versus mask wearing as well as social distancing. So we urge that at every point that we can. We're not going to pass a mandate that is unenforceable. So as we educate the population, we'll continue that effort because it is an important part of the equation. I've got a good relationship with the mayors. We're all trying to accomplish the same thing, which is encourage the use of masks that helps protect others and is a very unselfish act to do.
Should the president and vice president be doing more to set an example on the wearing of masks?
Well, I saw the vice president as he went into the briefing the other day. He had a mask, as others did. I think that's a good example. It is important that there is a consistent national message to take this seriously, that we are going to wear masks, that we're going to set that example. That consistent national message supplements what we're trying to do in the state and is important to what you can have two messages at the same time. Your message is let's grow our economy, but let's also have the message of social distancing, protecting ourselves and others from the virus.
On another subject, Mississippi is set to remove the Confederate symbol from the state flag. Governor Tate Reeves, your colleague, has said he would sign the bill. Is it time for Confederate monuments in the state of Arkansas to come down?
Well, we've already moved one in Bentonville, which is my hometown. There was a Confederate statue in the square. There was an agreement reached, which took some time to do, to move that statue to an area in a cemetery away from the public square. That's the right process to go through. It's not the right process to destroy by acts of violence or vandalism. It is right to have the debate and to take action. And so, yes, I think there's more that we need to look at in Arkansas. And I thought Mississippi, they did it in a thoughtful way. They set the process up, and I applaud them for their debate and the decision-making that they did. That will continue across the country, and it is the right thing to do.
But your personal opinion is that they should come down?
Well, you have to, which one are you talking about? Whenever you're looking at those in municipalities, we have one in Hot Springs. That's a local decision. Whenever you look at the ones that relates to the state, we do have one that's on our state capitol grounds. That's a decision of the General Assembly. What do I think about it? I think it's time to look for other places that we can know that history and remind ourselves of the lessons of that history.
Finally, sir, I wanted to talk about the 2020 race coming up. President Trump, you've seen the national polls. He won Arkansas by 27 points last time. I saw one poll this week that showed him only 2 points up right now. If it's a close race in Arkansas, that's a sign of real trouble for President Trump. What should he do to fix it?
Well, he's going to do fine in Arkansas. He will carry Arkansas. And you just got to look at President Trump and the fact that he's been down in the polls. Nobody thought he was going to win the last election. He surged in the final days. He won some of the key battleground states. And so people who are writing his obituaries a little bit early on that. And I think the key is the economy, and the key is, of course, managing this virus. And, you know, whatever he was doing, he was engaged in it, doing his national briefings. People were responding to that, even though he made some missteps in it. But he's got to be engaged both in moving the economy forward, but also in making sure that we're going the right direction and doing all we can to support the states in terms of the virus.
Governor Hutchinson, thanks for your time this morning. Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.